I just wanted to take a moment and talk about optional props. Props are completely optional. They're just nice to have sometimes. You can use yoga props or you can use anything that you have lying around. So feel free to get creative. So we're going to talk about props, how to use them, and the benefits of utilizing them. So the first thing that I usually recommend to grab is a blanket. You could also use a pillow instead. So the blanket can be really helpful to support the knees. Anytime we are on the knees or in tabletop, just for a little extra cushion. It also depends on the surface that you are practicing on. So if the surface is hard, having a cushion underneath the knees can feel really nice and be really supportive. The other thing that we can do with a blanket or a pillow is we can sit on it. So during pregnancy, I encourage you to sit on the floor, to sit in a variety of different ways, but you always want to have a little bit of elevation underneath the pelvis. So sitting on something just gives you that opportunity to let the hips relax, let the pelvis find neutral. So we're rooting down through the sits bones. The belly is just very gently spilling forward. So neutral pelvis is really helpful at creating balance and giving your baby the opportunity to get into a good position, and it just feels better on your body. So sitting on a pillow, a blanket, or something even higher, maybe stacking pillows. So if you come into a seat and your knees are really high, then that just means you need to sit up a little taller. For example, if we swapped out to a pillow or two pillows, your knees would have the opportunity to drop. And you could sit up a little taller and not have so much tension in the back or the hip area. So that's one thing that we can do with a blanket or a pillow. The other thing is during Shavasana, which I'll show you, final relaxation, it's nice to have props. So I'll show you that at the end of this video. Blocks can be really, really great at creating space, especially as you move through your pregnancy and you just don't have quite as much room. So for blocks, you can use traditional yoga blocks. You can use cans from your kitchen. You can use books, just anything that's going to give you a little bit of height. It doesn't have to be a lot. Make sure that it's sturdy, whatever you decide to use. So the reason that props or that blocks are so great is it creates space. So imagine, you're 8 months pregnant, you don't have a lot of space, it gets a little more challenging to move. We can utilize our blocks to create more space. So this is a lot more space than if I was down here and maybe just didn't have quite as much room because of baby. So create space. It's one of our main goals of our practice. The other thing we can use blocks for is folding. And you can also just use anything in your space. So just creating more room for you and for baby. Straps can also be nice. In lieu of a strap, you can use a tie, you can use a scarf, you can use a receiving blanket, you can use a towel. So there's a lot of things you can use for a strap. And we'll just use these occasionally when we're getting into the shoulders and doing some shoulder stretches. And like I said, you can always modify. So if you don't have a prop handy, that is okay. So those are the basic props that you may want to use for your classes. Positions for Shavasana, utilizing props. The two positions that I usually offer up in my in-person classes are sideline and semi-reclined. So sideline, it's nice to have a pillow, or you could just take your arm underneath the head. The hips are stacked. Maybe you just come to your side. Maybe you have an extra pillow. We're going to make it extra cozy. and support the knee and the ankle. So just make sure when you do these poses that you're supporting both the ankle and the knee. If I'm just supporting the knee and the ankles are kind of just hanging out, it's more opportunity to tweak the back. So this creates more support and more alignment. It just feels good, especially after you've moved the body, to create that sense of balance. So this is one option for final relaxation that might feel nice. We always come up by pressing ourselves up. And then the other is a semi-recline. So you'll stack up some pillows behind you, maybe blocks, whatever you have. So in this case, I'm going to grab one more bolster so I can be extra cozy. I'm going to take one of my blocks. So you could take a pillow, a book, create a little height. And then I'm going to take my other blanket or pillow underneath my knees. Low back comes all the way to your prop. And then underneath the knees is supported so the legs can just relax. Arms can relax. If you need to, you notice my chin is up towards the ceiling. If I slide a pillow or a blanket underneath, there's a lot more space. It just feels really great, really supportive. This is a heart opener as well. So this could be another nice option for final relaxation. When we come out of this, we roll to our side and we press up, just as not to overstretch the rectus abdominals. You're always welcome to come into any position that you like. These are just some options that might feel nice to try.